Hello everyone, Pietro speaking and welcome back to the Data Circle. We'll be creating a powerful Instagram bulk photo and reel downloader, so you can download a whole Instagram account worth of high definition content in a matter of minutes. Without further ado, let's jump right in. So first thing we're gonna do as usual is import our dependencies. So first of all, and the most important, Selenium. I'm just gonna copy and paste everything here. You guys are gonna see what each of these does as we go through the project. Then we're gonna be importing time, request, and last but not least, BeautifulSoup. Now, just a couple more things, and we can move on to setting up Chromedriver. So driver equals WebDriver dot Chrome, and also we're gonna be opening the web page, which is Instagram. So driver.get instagram.com. Let's just run it real quick and see if everything's working properly. All right, so we got Instagram here. Means that everything's fine so far. So let's open our developer mode. Let's look at the HTML. Now we gotta find the input fields for login and password. So username, we're gonna do WebDriver wait until the element can be clickable. So username, and then we're gonna be doing the exact same thing for password. We'll be using a CSS selector here. So input username, and then same thing for password. We can actually just copy and paste it. All right. And so we want to input. So first we want to make sure that both fields are clear. So username clear, and then send keys. Our username and password are hidden in a config file. I do suggest you guys do the same thing, especially if you're going to upload anything to GitHub later. You don't want anyone else having access to this information. Now let's click on the login button. We can also, just a second. So let's just change a couple things here. I had a couple things repeated. Couple more things. Yeah, now we should be good. So you can see we successfully input the username and password, and we've clicked the submit button. All right, now we gotta find the search button. So as you can see here, search, and we gotta look for something inside that button that we can use to identify it. Now, first thing, let's wait up to 10 seconds so the page can load. So element should be clickable. So we're waiting for the element to be present and clickable. Now this SVG area label, this is something we gathered from the HTML. So there's this area label search present in the search button. That's what we're going to be using to identify it. Then we got to just click on it. Got a bit of an error. Yeah, just WebDriver and clickable. Yeah, perfect. Now, as you can see, we clicked on the search button. And now we got to target the search field so we can input the Instagram account we are looking to target. As you can see here, the name of the button is search input, and there's a placeholder called search. So that's what we're going to be using to identify it. So search box, WebDriver, wait. As usual, we can just copy and paste the same thing from before. Perfect. So wait for element to be clickable. Now we can select by XPath. And that's what we gathered from the HTML. So add placeholder, search. Now that we have identified the button, we gotta input the handle for the account we're looking to search. Actually, first things first, we gotta make sure that it's clear, that there's nothing else in the search box. And now we want to define the account we're looking for. You can also look for a hashtag, but in this case, we're gonna do an account. And then we're gonna send the keys to the search box. And as you can see, the search box filled. And the account I want is the first one on the list. Now we gotta check whether our search terms start with at. As I said, you could either search for a hashtag or an account. So if we're looking for an account, you want to first remove the symbol from the account, and then you want to make sure that the first result matches the account you're looking for. So that's what we're doing here. So we just want the second part of the account after the symbol. Then first result. So we want to get that first result and check if that matches with the required with our target account. And we're gonna do that by using the drive.findElement by XPath. So let's see if the text on that result is equal to our keyword, which we have defined earlier. And then if that's the case, we're gonna be clicking on it. So first result dot click. All right, all good. So we clicked on the result. Now another thing we gotta do is load all results. And to do that, we gotta scroll down. We also gotta tell the program to when to stop scrolling down. And this is how we're gonna do that. So we're gonna get our initial height, and for that we can execute a script that returns our document scroll height. We also gotta create a list to store the HTMLs. So basically, we're gonna be using BeautifulSoup to store multiple HTMLs after each scroll. Now we're gonna do a loop so we can scroll multiple times. So we're gonna be executing a script to scroll down to the bottom of the page. And that's window.scroll2. And then we gotta input the coordinates. So 0 because we don't want any side scrolling, and document body scroll height so we can get the full length of the document. Then we will wait for about 5 seconds so new posts can load. And after each scroll, as I said, we're gonna be storing the HTML. So driver.page source and storing into a variable called HTML. Soups.append. So we're gonna be getting a beautiful soup element for after each one of the scrolls, and we're gonna be adding that to a list called soups, and that's gonna be the parsed HTML that we're gonna be adding there. After the scroll, we're getting the new page height, and then what we're gonna do after this is comparing our new page height with our initial page height. And that's how we're gonna know if we got to the bottom of the feed. So of the grid, actually, of the photo and real grid. So we know we reached all of the media. And so we're comparing current height with initial height. Because at the moment that these two are the same, we know there's no more space for scrolling, so there's no more media to collect. So basically we're gonna be scrolling down until there's no more scrolling down to do. And after each scroll down, we're gonna be saving a beautiful soup element with the parsed HTML. So that's how we make sure that we got all the media from that account. Let's run it. Yes. So as you can see, and once it reaches the end, so once it's gathered all the HTMLs for everything, it's gonna stop scrolling. So yeah, it stopped scrolling. Now I'm just showing you guys that we have all the media there. And if we just get this final HTML, we're not gonna get all of the media. So that's why you gotta do that. You gotta get one soup for every scroll. Now we're gonna gather the post URLs from the HTMLs we gathered. So we're gonna go through each of the beautiful soup elements, each of the parsed HTMLs inside the list, soups. And we're gonna look for the image elements. So basically these image elements are the URLs for each one of the posts. And we can see that those URLs appear something like this. So slash p slash and then a bunch of gibberish. If it's a real, it's gonna be slash real slash something like that. And it's inside this So this class, XLI 10, etc., etc. So from that, we're going to be gathering the URLs that start with either the P or the real. So element href for element in elements. You can do a quick. We're just doing a quick list comprehension here to make things easier. So we're looking for the href, so the URLs, and we're looking for the ones that start either with P or real. Okay. So now we're going to be converting it to a set, so it doesn't allow for duplicates. Because every time we scroll down, we might get a couple of the posts twice. So if we just make it into a set and then back into a list, we make sure there are no duplicates and that we're getting each post once. Let's check it out. So unique post URLs. All right. So as you can see here, we got the exact URLs we were looking for. So either /p or /real. And let's look at the length of this list, 117. And let's check the account we're scraping. 117 posts. Perfect. So we got everything, no duplicate. In order to get the URLs for the actual media, we need to access that contain all of the info for each one of the posts. And in order to access that, we gotta add a little something to the URLs we just collected. So this is what you gotta add. And remember, it's a request, so you gotta add a question mark before that. So question mark and then just that. Let's copy that JSON and put it into a parser. And you can see here, we got all the info for each one of the posts. So here you can gather anything you want really. So likes, comments, and stuff like that. Inside that, you're gonna find the candidates, and inside the candidates, you're gonna find the link for each media, each piece of media. I'm just showing up an example here, that picture, and you can see it's high def. It's pretty much everything you need. Now, after you have access to that JSON, we wanna build a loop. You can go through each one of the URLs we collected, add the query parameters, and access the JSON so we can gather the media. Now we just got to do a bit of error handling because sometimes you might get an error accessing that. It's not very often, but still it's worth doing it. So try. We're gathering the current URL for the page, which is going to come from the list. And then we want the driver to go to that URL. Then we gotta add the query parameters. So the modified URL is gonna be Instagram.com plus the URL we're going through plus the query parameters. And don't forget the question mark. So let's direct our driver towards that full URL, the modified URL. Then let's just wait for everything to load. You don't need to wait that much because it's just text. And that JSON is actually contained inside the HTML. And inside the HTML, there's a pre tag, and the JSON is going to be in there. So that's what we got to do now. So we just got to do the same thing we've been doing so far, just to identify that pre tag and then extract whatever is inside that pre tag. So JSON underscore script going to be what's all of the text that's inside the pre tag. Then we're parsing the JSON. And to do that, just JSON.loads and then the JSON. And after we got the parsed JSON for a specific post, we can just add it to the JSON list. So just append JSON parse. And we should be good to go. Just gotta add a couple lines here for error handling. So if anything doesn't go according to plan, we just gotta identify the error and pretty much move on. All right. So as you can see, we're running it and it's going through each one of the JSON, going through each JSON for each post. Now from here, you can get pretty much any information you want from any post. So as I said, comments, likes, whatever you like. profile pictures, you name it, you got it here. And that's where we're gonna get all of our URLs for all of the media we're gonna be downloading. All right, and that's what we're gonna be doing now. So first we gotta create a list once again. And this time, I promise it's the last one, because now we're gonna be storing the URLs for the actual media content. And also we need the dates, just I'm gonna show it later on to keep our folders organized. So for JSON data in JSON list, everything's stored inside the items key. So that's the first place you gotta get to, the items list, JSON underscore data dot get items. And then you want to go through each one of the items in the item list. And first thing we're going to get is the date when the photo was taken. So that's the first thing you got there inside the items list. So just date taken equals JSON underscore data dot get taken at. Now, if it's a carousel post, so multiple media in a single post, you got to find the carousel media list. And we're going to find that by doing item.get carousel media. And then inside the carousel media, we're going to be looking for photo or video. So first, if it's an image, we're going to store it inside the image URL variable. So media.get, and then it's going to be inside the list called image versions 2. And we're just getting the URL. So inside image versions 2, you're going to find candidates. And then inside candidates, you're going to find the URL. Have in mind that the URL that contains the highest quality picture or video is always going to be the first one. So that's why the 0 there. The other ones are just alternatives for lower internet connections or different devices that don't support them. Now let's check if the image URL, so the one we just defined, if it's present inside carousel media. And if it is, we're going to be adding the URL to a list along with the date that it was taken. So we can make sure that everything's working fine. Once we run it, we got to print a carousel image added, so we know which type of media was just added, and we know that it's going through every type of media, not leaving anything behind. Now let's do a video. So video is inside video versions. So pretty similar to the images, just video versions, no video versions 2. And if there is a list called video versions, we just gotta get the video URL from inside there. And just as before, we want the first element, so that's why the 0, because that's gonna be the highest quality file we can get. So if we actually find the video URL, we're just gonna add it to the list along with the date, and we can just print carousel video added. Having in mind that all we've done so far is for carousel posts. Now we're gonna handle cases of unique images, so images that are not contained inside a carousel. So we're doing something very similar to what we just did. The only difference is that we're not gonna have the carousel media list. Instead, we're gonna go straight to image versions 2 candidates and just get the first one. All right, perfect. So all same thing. Add it. Awesome. Then video versions, same exact thing. So this is for single videos, not carousel videos. So we're gonna go straight to the video versions list. And then if that's present, we're just gonna gather the first URL that shows up, which is the highest quality possible. And then we're gonna append that to the all URLs list. Don't forget to do the date as well. You can see here we added single images, we added videos, we added carousel images, we added carousel videos, and that totals to 200 files or 200 URLs. And we also got all the dates we needed. Those should be 200 dates as well, so one for each. Now that we got the direct URL to the files, we just got to download them. First things first, we're going to be creating a download folder in our computer. I'm just choosing to name that folder the keyword that I use to search for the account. So let's make that directory. So download there. Okay. You guys don't need to worry about this stuff. This is all in the file that I've uploaded to the Data Circles GitHub. Get it out from there. So we're going to be creating two different folders, one for images and one for videos. Let's create our image directory and our video directory. These are going to be subfolders from the main folder, which is named after the handle that we extracted our content from. We got to do a couple counters. That's just for the naming of each individual file. So each individual file is going to be named with the date it was taken, along with a image counter, either a image counter or a video counter. So now we gotta iterate through all of the URLs. We also need the name of the number of each URL. You guys are gonna see why in just a second. Just gotta get the response. So this is also we can download our files. We also want to get the extension from the URL so that we know whether it's a video or an image. And once again, we can just copy and paste this from the Data Circles GitHub. I got two files there for you guys. One so you can follow along with the tutorial, and another one which already has everything completed. Now, for images, we want either JPEG, PNG, GIF, and we're going to be saving all of the images as PNG just for simplification matters. And the destination folder for all the images is going to be the image directory that we just created. And we're going to add one to our image counter. So the index, I forgot to tell you guys. So the index we're using to know the date that we're getting from, since it's a different list than the one we're iterating in. And then if it's a video, else if it's a video, same thing. So we're going to get the date that's correspondent to the video we're downloading, as well as the counter. and we're going to be saving it to the appropriate folder. We're almost at the end here. So we're just going to write the contents to the file. And we're going to print how many files have been downloaded. Let's run it. So we're downloading everything. You can see here, pretty quick. It won't take more than a couple minutes for you to download a page like this, an account like this. So we're almost at the end. Scroll down a bit more, getting there. And yep, that's all. So 200 files, the exact number of files we had, the exact number of URLs. You can see it created the folder. We got two folders in here, images and videos. If we open the image folder, you can see we have all of the high quality images in here, all of the high definition images, and the videos as well. As you can see here, that all adds up to 200 files. And that's all. We made it. Thanks for joining us. Feel free to add this project to your portfolio. You can also find this project in the Data Circles GitHub. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and stay tuned for more exciting data projects. Until next time, and as always, happy scraping.